Tell us a little bit about the history of the Yellowstone Bible Camp before it became the Yellowstone Bible Camp.
Well, I've learned a lot even in recent months about that as I went through a lot of old files and board meeting notes and so forth that date back to the mid-50s. And I found the camp was homesteaded. It was a part of a homestead by a guy by the last name of Champion back in about 1910. And he sold it to a man by the name of Wiley Hay. And Wiley Hay built many of the buildings that we have on campus. We've added some in our tenure here. Wiley Hay had the vision of having a chinchilla and meat farm here. And he had cages up around the barn, which is now the boys' dorm. That log building was built in 1928. It was the first building on our land. It was that was the start of it. Wiley Hay sold out to a man by the name of Mike Pebble. And Mike died a few years ago, and I knew him reasonably well. Mike in the mid-50s was going through a tough time in his own marriage and also conflicting with the county over the taxes on this place. And he had made the threat to them that if they didn't lower his taxes, he would sell it to a nonprofit. And we became the nonprofit. Mm-hmm. There was an opportunist. In fact, Clinton Brazel, who is known by many throughout Canada and Montana, Clinton worked with the church in Weyburn at one time, Weyburn, Saskatchewan. He was preaching in Bozeman back before my dad did. Clinton's the one who found it, and soon afterwards he moved to Anaconda, Montana, and then up to Weyburn. But a number of men took on this responsibility, and most of those founders have since passed. There's one or two alive yet, Clinton Brazel being one of them. He'll be here for Golden Age Camp next week. He's 91 or 2, and then another man by the name of Oliver Smith from Twin Bridges, Montana, whose health is also declining, and he plans to visit here next week for a day or two. His daughter's hoping to bring him over. Our bell that we use for the dinner bell or wake up and all the notification came from Oliver Smith. He got it from an old schoolhouse in western Montana, and we've preserved it and still use it. It rings every time, a lot of times every day. It's kind of interesting, and then when I think of the bell, I think of Oliver.
So in 1956, if I understand correctly, this property had a change of purpose.
The vision was probably fuzzy. In fact, it was first called Montana Bible College, and it was incorporated that way. And in the time since, that name has evolved to where we are today at Yellowstone Bible Camp at Bow and Arrow Ranch Incorporated. Mike Pebble operated this as a dude ranch. And some people are not familiar with that expression, dude ranch, but that's where you bring in novices to ride horses and pretend like they're on a working cattle ranch. And he had horses in the corrals and the various things around here, and they would do tours up the mining roads and so forth around this part of the country. And so it was well suited for a Bible camp. It came with a lot of cabins, a very nice lodge, to which we've added on to the chapel back in 2002. And we built other additional buildings since then, like the Alice Dormitory, which is a 2-story log building. All of our buildings are log, and we've been blessed with the opportunity to maintain them and keep them up. And some challenges of really, really old buildings and old cabins, of replacing rotted logs and doing all the things it takes to maintain a facility that's really only